Hey everybody, I'm Kevin Fix. I'm here today to talk to you about the Behringer X32. We're going to do a real quick start guide with you guys to get you up and running on the console, to get signal both in and out of the console, and how to manipulate compressors, gates, effects, etc. within the console. So here we are with the Behringer X32. We're going to jump right into the menu systems on here and show you guys around them quickly. The fail-safe of this console is the home button here at the top. And within the home page, we have some sub-pages, a config page, a gate, a dynamic, an EQ, your sends, and your mains. Hitting the home will automatically take you back to the top home page again. Below that page is a meters tab, which you can show channel inputs here, mix bus outputs, your matrix outputs, your effects returns and sends, the full I/O of the console, and then there's a built-in RTA in the console as well. The next tab is the routing tab. In its top layer are your actual input routing. So here you can select a local input, an AES50 input, which is the Clark Technique protocol of digital snake that the Behringer consoles use, as well as Midas consoles. From that, you go to the output assignments. There's 16 physical outputs on the console, which you can scroll through here and then assign to pretty much any output in the console. The next tab is the aux out. There's 6 1/4-inch TRS line level outputs on the back of the console, which is how you assign those. The P16 out is Behringer's proprietary monitoring system, much like a Avion system. And that's the output assignments for it. The card out, there are, I think, 6 different cards available for the console with Firewire outputs and USB for recording, Dante, MADI. That's the output assignments for that. And then you have your AES50A and your AES50B and your XLR outs. The next tab is the setup tab. There's a global page here. With any digital console, it's usually a good idea to have a look at this and just see how things are set up before you start working on the console. If something's all set up post-fade, for instance, you won't be getting anything out of monitor sends. The next page of that tab is the config tab, which is where you select the actual operating clock of the console, where it's clocking from locally to an AES50A or B input. You set the time and you set the configuration of the console as far as auxiliary sends, group, combinations. The next tab is the remote tab. You can use the console to control Mackie, HUI, MIDI for recording purposes. And then you have the network tab to assign the IP, subnet, and gateway of the console for control via iPad or a laptop. And then the favorite of mine, the Scribble Strip tab, which took me forever to find when I first used this console, where you can assign your inputs and you can change color on them. It comes with a bunch of pre-listed names that you can select quickly instead of typing with a little data wheel, which is a little troublesome at times. The next tab is the preamps tab, which you can go through in banks of 8 and select the preamp groups you are using. So there's 4 banks of 8 internally on the console, and then on each AES50 channel, A and B, there's another 8 banks for a total of 40 inputs each. And then there is the card settings, what it's going to be actually physically doing. 32 in, 32 out, 16 in, 16 out, 32 in, 8 out, 8 in, 32 out, etc. And whether you're using Firewire or USB. If you had a different card in here, there would be different options, obviously. The next tab is the library tab, where you can store channel presets, including head amp configuration, gate, compressor, equalizer, and sends. And you just turn these on or off so it scopes them or not. what you can do with that is preset channels for your drums, your guitars, etc. that you can just dial to and pull it up. And now that channel has those settings on it with that EQ from that preset. The next tab in there is the effects. It's the same deal. You can create an effect you really like within one of the effects engines, and you can store that preset with all of your settings. So it's really quick. When you get on this console with a USB stick, all of these will be in your file as well. So you can pull up all these presets quickly on the fly and with the console. The next tab there is the routing, and again, it's taking like a little preset of all your routing in the console. The next main tab here is the effects tab. There are 8 racks in this console. They're all set up stereo by default, so it's stereo in, stereo out, and you can assign inputs, and you can change the effects types. Within that, there's tabs for each actual unit, so you get in more detailed view of each actual effect unit, and you have all the different parameters of those units right at your fingertips, right at the bottom here. Most of these effects units have 2 pages of variables. Some do not. And then you get, by default, effects racks 5 through 8 are dually graphic EQs, which you can assign to any output on the console.